people speeding around me, honking the horn, giving me the finger, and giving me dirty looks, my stress was at an all-time high during this moment. The process of getting our license, especially in Canada, because there's so many different steps, is taken so seriously, but we are never taught like real good stuff, like emergency procedures, emergency situation issues, like car rules, how to change a tire in an emergency, which I feel like everyone should know, how to change your own oil, things that will actually benefit us our whole lives. No matter what age we are never taught. But we spend 2 hours remembering what we do for a yield sign. And then remembering what color light a snowplow is, what color it has at the top, what we do. This honestly gives me all types of stress. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tashi and thanks for clicking on this video. As you can tell, it's another Sassy Saturday. Welcome back. And for those of you who don't know what a Sassy Saturday is, go check out my playlist to see a whole bunch of different Sassy Saturdays that I do once a month on this channel. For today, we're gonna be jumping right into another story time. Guys, my life's not that interesting, but I do have a few story times here or there that I think that most of you will enjoy. So watch till the end to find out one of the most horrific, scary, stressful, and emotionally hard times I had when driving. So the story begins about, I would like to say 5 years ago when I first started driving. And I was driving on my G1. For my American viewers out there, a G1 is basically your permit. That means I need to have someone else in the car with me and can't drive on the highway unless there's someone else in the car, and there's a whole bunch of different rules around that. And I had to go to work, and of course I'm practicing, so every chance I got to drive, I drove with a parent in the car or someone with 5 years in experience and over. And this day, it was myself in the car, my mom, my grandma, and I was just driving myself to work. An ordinary day, I was excited, and we all know that feeling we get when we first get our license. Like, you feel like you're the boss, you're on cloud 9, you think you're on some high level stuff, okay? And especially when you are in high school, like, the feelings are just so surreal. You feel like you can conquer the world. So honestly, I was stoked to be driving. I knew all the rules, everything was all good, and at this point, it's been about a year that I had my permit. So I did have experience, guys. I was pretty confident in my driving, and there was nothing wrong with my driving personally that I could pick apart at. This day in particular, I had work in about 20 minutes, and my work is about 5 minutes away from my house, so I usually like to leave a little bit early just to give me some leeway, just in case something happens or something comes up. I hate being late to work, and good I did leave early because your girl needed that time. For me personally, I don't know about you guys, but my dad is the main driver at home. He drives everywhere and does most of the driving, whereas my mom doesn't drive as much as my dad. And I can confidently say that my dad is a better driver. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but personally that's what I feel. And usually any situation my dad's in, he solved it. Any issues, he's been good. But my mom's the type of person where she's very quiet, very calm, collected, and like myself, she stresses out super easy. Anyways, I was driving to work, as I mentioned before. We're living our best life, and we're on a main road. This main road is about a 50 kilometers per hour road, all the good stuff. There's about maybe 3-4 cars behind me. We're just driving, and as we're driving, I hit the brakes a little bit because I noticed I was approaching a traffic light. Guys, I hit the brakes and nothing happens. And I'm like, either I'm losing it or there's something like completely wrong. Like, I just think I didn't hit the brakes hard enough. I'm like, okay, like maybe that was just like a light tap. Like, I need to hit it harder. And I hit the brakes again and nothing happens. Guys, my like heart skipped a beat during this moment. Like, I was just in awe, and I'm like, a few seconds passed by where I'm like, okay, like, what do I do? Like, I'm gonna tell my mom, do I not tell my mom? Like, I don't want anyone to freak out. My grandma's pretty old, like, I don't want anything to happen. Like, there's cars everywhere. And one last time, before I say something, I hit the brakes as hard as I can. You know when you put your foot all the way to the end? I did that, and I just felt the brake pedal go all the way in, and it did nothing. At this moment, I'm like, okay, like, game over, like, we're done, like, who knows? And I've never been in a situation like this. No one's ever told me about a situation like this, because this is not the norm. And again, as I mentioned before, I'm still a new driver at this point, so I'm just in panic, and I'm like, Mom, the brakes aren't working. And like, she's like, what? Oh my gosh, like, a panic happened with her too. And I was like, oh my God, like, what do I do? There's a car behind me. Like, we're approaching a traffic stop. There's more cars around me. Like, it's a busy road, guys. Like, yes, there's some cars on the side of this road, and there's like side streets and all that fun stuff, but it's a busy road. And I immediately just thought, like, pull over anywhere, just pull over, get off this main road, and try to get this car to stop. And guys, thank God it was kind of going uphill, so it was kind of slowing down, but still, the fact that the brakes weren't working and I was never taught this, no. My thing is, we are taught all these random signs, all these random rules that we will probably use once in our lifetime. But during our test, our driving test, we are never asked questions that are actually going to apply to us, like emergency questions like this. So I was never taught this. No one ever taught me anything about this type of emergency situation. So as quickly as I can, I look in my rearview mirror and I just safely try to pull over. People are honking their horn left and right because they don't know what's going on. I put the emergency on as soon as I can, like right before I pull over. This guy like pulls down his window, he's screaming, he's giving me the finger. To add to my stress and horror of the situation, just made it a whole lot worse. Literally at this point, I'm like, honestly, if I just hit the car somewhere, I would have been well off. It could have stopped. Just a little, like, just a tap. Like, we would have been okay, but it would have been a better situation than this. Guys, honestly. Once I'm trying to pull over, I quickly, like, think, like, I'm just going to put my handbrake on, like, try to put it in park, just anything, even if I break the car, just get it to stop. I go and it's still kind of rolling, and again, people honking their horns, people giving me the dirtiest and obnoxious looks, slowing down just to see what I'm doing. And tip of advice, guys, again, and I fall under this category too, when someone is slowly pulling over, slowly making a turn, like they're putting their emergency on, something's happening, don't honk your horn. I need to learn this too. We just need to have more patience when driving. Again, emergency situation, they forgot something, they're lost. Again, something like this. Honestly, it changed my life. Like, for you to be 16, 17 years of age, driving and your brakes don't work, like, and you don't have a lot of common sense, like, no offense, when you're in high school, when you're young, like, it's really hard to apply some of these life skills that you don't have yet. Anyways, I pull over, put the car in a park, thank God, and I also put the handbrake on and I turned it off. When I tell you, I fully just stopped and just like had a meltdown. I had a meltdown. My mom was just in awe looking. And the best part of this whole situation, my grandma had no idea what's going on. No idea whatsoever. She was just sitting in the back, living her best life, she's just so confused and just asking like, why did we pull over? Like, did we forget something? Guys, the best part of this moment was how confused my grandma was. It was just so, that's the only highlight of this moment because it was just so funny. I can't. Thank God that no one got hit. Thank God there was no accidents. Like, honestly, just everything happened perfectly. I was so close to so many cars, guys, trying to pull over on the side of the road without having your brakes working, because again, I realized after analyzing the situation and taking a deep breath and thinking, my brakes were shot. And they were never shot before. And yes, when I was driving, this was an older car, guys. Like, it was those like Pontiac vans, like a Pontiac, like, I don't know, maybe early 2000s, 19 something. It was an older car. So that type of stuff maybe is bound to happen, but like, who would have known? And the day I was driving, it would happen. Me going to work also, it would happen. It was just something else. Like, I'm really appreciative of how everything turned out, but I can't express to you guys the amount of stress, frustration, like all different types of emotions happening during that time. The best part about this situation, when I tell my friends or I like to reminisce about the past and think about it, till this day, my grandma still has no idea what happened. Like, when we left the car, parked, and we got out of the car, and I just like called for help and everything, my dad came, she's so confused, like just questioning, like, why did we stop? Are we still going to the store? Like, are we gonna get Tim's after this? Like, guys, the amount of confusion in my grandma literally just made the situation from 0 to 100. Like, I've like completely lost it at this point because I can't believe this happened. Mind you guys, at this time, I was supposed to be at work, and my grandma's just so in shock. She's so disgusted that we have to go back home. Like, she's not even fazed that like maybe something happened to the car or us. Like, she's just really annoyed that we drove 5 minutes from home and then we pulled over and had to go back home. Like, she was a little confused as to why it was happening, but she was mainly annoyed at the fact that she didn't go to the store and she didn't get coffee that day. That honestly is the cherry on top of the situation. Like, thinking back at it, I honestly, like, I'm hysterically laughing at her asking me these questions before having a meltdown. It was one of those. Anyways, guys, once help came, the car was on one side, I got dropped off at work, and again, I don't want to ruin someone's day, I don't want to make it all about me, and I really don't need to disclose like what happened before going into work because I want to have a clear mindset. So before I went to work, I called my manager saying I'm going to be late, and guys, I only had a 4-hour shift, but that whole shift, and it's always when you're slow too, we were so slow at this time, and I worked at a home decor store, and fully for those 4 hours, I was thinking about the whole situation. The car could have got wrecked, we could have got wrecked, could have hit another car, did this really just happen? Like, I was kind of proud of myself too. I'm like patting myself on the back like, girl, you handled this pretty well. Like, you were never taught this, and there was a lot of cars around. You could have just swiped the car and just called it a day. But I was pretty proud of myself, guys, not gonna lie. For a teen that just got their license and not being taught this in an emergency situation like that, like, I was pretty proud of myself. But yet again, guys, I was still in shock that like for those 4 hours of my shift, all I remember that day is what happened before coming into work. And I was only like maybe 10 minutes late to work, but still, like, I was just so in shock. Like, I was just standing at work just thinking about the whole situation. Anyways, guys, that wraps up my story time about the day my brakes were shot and I didn't wreck the car, didn't cause any bigger issues than the main issue, and made it out alive, made it out safe, no scratches, and made it out of the situation without my grandma knowing what happened till today. Anyways, guys, lesson of the day, drive safe, stay aware, know your car, and for those of you new drivers, guys, there's a lot of things that can happen, so just be aware. It can happen to anyone, new cars, old cars, guys, anything can happen. You may be the best driver ever, but your car or someone else may not be. Until next time, guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week and come back next time for another Sassy Saturday video. Bye.